What's up guys, Curtis here and welcome to a brand new series I'm going to be starting. It's going to be called What If ... So we're basically the main premise of it is this first one is what if Arsenal sign their transfer targets, and then we're going to build a squad around it and play with it very simply. Now the first bunch of episodes it will be what if certain team secures their transfer targets, but we may go on to other things in the future, like what if a particular manager takes over, and then we'll be looking at the playstyle they're playing and stuff like that. So it could be a great bit of fun to do. I'm really looking forward to it. So before we get started, what I will say is if you have any suggestions for teams to do in this, I'm basically planning on doing the top 6 in England, like what if Arsenal, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, etc. sign their transfer targets, and then we're going to move on to other leagues and stuff. But yeah, so it's a bit of a long-winded introduction, but now before we really get stuck into it, what I do want to say is if you want a fast and reliable coin service, check out UT13.com. There is a link to them in the description down below as always. But we're going to start off with the goalie, and that is Julio Cesar, very heavily linked with a move to Arsenal, move away from QPR. He said he won't be playing at QPR next season. I don't think we'd be paying too much for him. He would be ideal for us. I mean, you look at that, he's getting on a little bit. He's now, what, 34 almost. By the time this next season comes around, he'll be 34. So that means we'll get 3 or 4 good seasons out of him. And then that will also give Szczesny a chance to mature under him. So I think that would be a great sign in there. I'd very much like to have that. Left back, I would have gone for Kieran Gibbs. I still prefer him over Nacho Monreal. And I don't think there is any need for any improvement there. I think he's perfectly capable of doing a good enough job at left back. Second centre back is Ashley Williams, very heavily linked as well. Not so much in the recent weeks, but a month or two ago he was very heavily linked, and I would love to have him at Arsenal. I think he's fantastic, and I think he'd be a perfect fit like a glove to our back four. Second centre back would obviously be Koscielny. He is an absolute legend, been fantastic last 12 games or so. As soon as Vermaelen was out of the picture and we had Mertesacker at the back of him, he was brilliant. Right back we have Carl Jenkinson. Now I personally think that Sanya's going to go, and that doesn't bother me. I'm more than happy for him to leave, and I love Carl Jenkinson. It has nothing to do with how similar we look, but I think his story of how he had an absolutely terrible season, was like one of the worst players in the 8-2 game, had an absolute nightmare, and then last summer, he worked so hard over the summer, came back this season and has had a fantastic run. So I really want him to progress even more and get into the side. So next up we have Fellaini. Now we triggered his buyout clause. Whether or not he'll come to us is a completely different matter. I was considering putting Fabregas here, but I'm not sure about that one either. But I would love to sign Fellaini. I don't really know if we will, but that would be a perfect signing for Arsenal. A nice, strong, solid, aggressive centre mid that we really need to hold the core of the side. Next up, we have Mikel Arteta, and obviously he's going to be in the squad again next season. The current captain, I'm sure he will be made the permanent captain for next season. His passing, his general movement, his tackling was absolutely incredible last year, so he will definitely make it into the side. Over into left cam, we have Santi Cazorla. Now he's been playing out on the left very frequently. I was kind of thinking this like these two are wingers as well, but I couldn't get a proper 4-2-3-1 with wide players, which I hope FIFA bring in next season. But Cazorla, so now that whoever was hoovering has stopped hoovering, we'll carry on. And we have Santi Cazorla, obviously playing on the left. Now, he's an absolute legend. He's been brilliant this year, playing on the left for Arsenal. And yeah, anyway, I can't remember what I said about him before. We had to cut it off, so we will just continue on to the right. And that is Theo Walcott. Now, he is improving. I mean, he doesn't always look that good, but he gets goals and he gets assists, and I guess that is what Arsenal need, and I cannot see him being replaced by anyone over on that right side just yet. So, lastly, before we go on to the striker, we have Jackie Wilshere, who I reckon will be playing centre-forward next year. He played there quite a few times this year, but Thomas Rosicky kind of had that role towards the end of the season, but I don't think Thomas Rosicky will be getting all that much game time next year, and I can't see Jack playing a more defensive role, because he just ruins the balance of the team, basically. So I can see him playing there. He's played there quite a lot this year, so I reckon that'll be the case. Then in striker, we have Higuain, an absolute interesting Real Madrid player. I think he'll be brilliant at Arsenal. I think he's clinical when he needs to be. He's a great goal scorer. He does everything you want him to do, and I think he'll fit in just perfectly. He can get on the end of fancy moves. That's what he's been doing at Real Madrid for all this time. So I think personally he will be ideal. Now, other players, of course, that will be involved. We'll have Chambo will be playing in one of these 3 top roles. There's a bunch of other players that I didn't include, but you may have varying opinions on who you think we're going to sign, or what else. But this is kind of based off the rumours that are out. Obviously, UT13 could have gone instead of Higuain, but I went for Higuain because I would prefer him, and I think there's more chance of us picking him up. But that is it. Now we're going to go on some gameplay and talk a tiny little bit more about them over there. Now, I don't really want to be rambling on for too long in this last little bit. I've got a bunch of gameplay like bits for the rest of this episode, but I don't want to just be pushing them down your throat. Now, I did want to mention a couple other players that obviously will be involved next season. Now, Lucas Podolski, I have a feeling that he might not even be here next season. I don't think he's had the season he hoped he had this year. Obviously playing mainly out wide, and I don't think he's had the luck that he kind of was expecting, so I'm not too sure about his situation or whether he will even be around next year. Thomas Vermaelen, I'm not sure what's going to be going on with him. There's big rumours of him going to Barca and to PSG and stuff like that. Now, I mean, I wouldn't mind if he didn't play again as centre-back for Arsenal. There is rumours about him being moved up to a defensive mid, which would work perfectly, and I will maybe explain why I think that in another episode. But yeah, I don't really want him playing centre-back anymore. Gervinho, hopefully we sell on. Diaby obviously is injured until January. Fabianski, I don't think we'll be getting all that much more of a look in. Ramsey will obviously be rotating with Fellaini and Arteta if that was to be the case, and maybe even playing a little bit further forward in the centre forward role. But that's basically it for the rest of the players. But that is also the end of this episode, guys. Like I said, please show me your support by leaving likes and stuff like that down below. It is greatly appreciated. But thank you as always for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you want to check out my 2 latest uploads to my second channel, you can click on the annotations on the screen or the link in the description. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.